Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This afternoon, we are going to discuss a little bit of preventive maintenance and repairs that we made to the truck right before the end of the year. I like to do everything I can right before the end of the year, as long as it don't put me in a financial bind, worse than I already am. I'm a trucker. It's always going to be bad. But I like to do it before the end of the year. That way I get those last few little tax items to help me against the upcoming tax haul. Of course, they're going to hit us hard. They normally do. Anyhow, I had been needing a few things done to the truck. I kind of stretched out my service and my overhead, and I had to get something else done, which some of you guys know about and some of you don't. There is a fuel quantity valve on a DD15 that will make it run rough. It'll idle up, idle down. It won't stay steady, and also it will affect your fuel mileage. And I had been knowing that, but I was just doing the best I could because I was trying to set everything up and I was trying to build up some funds, because I knew it was not going to be a cheap visit to the shop. Because y'all, I've kind of learned the hard way this last year to stay with a reputable shop, especially one that works on you and gets you out in a quick fashion, because I got took to the cleaners a few times this year, and I'm gonna do my best to not let that happen anymore. That's why I've got a local Freightliner dealership that they take care of me, and I'm gonna go to them even if it costs me a little bit more. Just like my last time I went to get my clutch done, and the shop that I had formerly used before gave me a decent price on it. They came in way under Freightliner, but by the time they got done, they were back up at the Freightliner price, and I was not happy with their service, because if they'd have done things different, they'd have saved me a whole lot of money. But long story short, let's go back to talking about the fuel quantity valve. So this quantity valve, the overhead and the service had to be done, because my truck, she's got 920,000 miles on her, and she's starting to smoke a little more than she should. And once I got that done, that helped a lot with the smoking, because of some of that can come because of the overhead. But I believe she was burning too much fuel because of the fuel quantity valve. It was pushing out too much. Now, there still could be some issues with the injectors. We'll see how that goes this year, but right now, empty, with a trailer running 60 miles an hour, I'm getting about 10 miles to the gallon. That's right. I've never got that mileage with this truck. Not even when I only had 228,000 miles on it when I just got it from Snyder. The best I got was like 8.5. But now, running 60, she's getting about 10. And that's a game changer for me and my deadhead. It allows me to do more and chase down a higher dollar load, because it don't cost me as much to run get it. It does cost me time, and you always got to consider that time in it toward the end of your week. But yeah, that's running empty sure does make a difference when you can do it for cheap. But altogether, the three things together cost me $3,100, and 2.5 days. It was going to be 1.5, but I had to go out of town, so it ended up being 2.5. I told them they could hold it a little bit longer, and y'all, it just pays to have a quality shop. People that you can trust, people that's going to get you out, because downtime and parts coming in on time, those things can cost you your rig, because you got bills to pay, right? You got to pay that bill. If you're doing a lease purchase or something, you're going to have to pay them by the week. You know, I've been blessed because I've got mine financed with the bank, and I've been down to doing monthly, and monthly is so much better than weekly, let me tell you. And then I've got my insurance this year actually went down to lowest I've ever had it. I'm excited about that because Progressive was hitting me extremely hard. And I'll probably do some videos about that, separate some of that stuff out. This is just to tell y'all about a few things I tried to get done before the end of the year. And I recommend that, well, anybody that's running the business knows toward the end of the year, you want to get things done before you start the next year. That way it helps you on tax write-offs. Long as it's not stuff that you normally wouldn't do, and it's within reason. But yeah, I was proud to get that done because the truck is running so much better. I mean, it's so much better with that because that thing was rattling up, idling down, and honestly, I just didn't have enough money to fix it beforehand. And now it's just, it's wonderful having that done. Now, the next thing I had done is I came over here today and I got another steer tire put on my truck. Because y'all know my truck eats tires up on the front. That's all right. I take that old tire that was starting to wear and I put it on the trailer. Because I had one that was bald, and I put a Firestone. I've never really ran Firestones. I hope it works out pretty good. But now I got a Firestone on one side and a Michelin on the other. I did have an Ironman all position over there, and it did all right, but it started wearing funny, and that could have been because my rim busted and started a slow leak a while back, and I had to buy a new aluminum rim, which was $400 something. And you don't come around them real easy around my part. Everybody was out. I had to go to a Love's and they had it, but everybody else, all my local shops and stuff, were out of them. How do you run out of aluminum rims? Come on, man. Everybody has those. But yeah, I had to get that done, and that was no fun. We put that new tire on, and the old tire is on the trailer. It's got deep tread on it, even though it's wearing kind of funny on the inside. I'm curious to see if it's going to wear on the outside like this last tire was doing. But it should buy me a while. You know, I'm stuck with this lease trailer, and it's really on my nerves. I wish I would have never sold my trailers. If I could kick myself in the rump, I would, because selling my dry van trailers, I believe, was the worst mistake I've ever made. Even though I made cash off of them, they were both good trailers, dependable trailers. Their axles didn't burn up tires, like I got one on this trailer here that I've had it aligned twice, and it's still eating up the inside of the tire. It's just, man, selling those trailers was not a wise decision. I miss them too, The gray trailer I had some shadows on it from the previous owner, and that was the only gripe I had with that trailer. Other than she was getting older, she needed her floor sealed, but this one here's had the floor sealed, and it's done condensated on the inside twice. So I would caution anybody that seals their floor to make sure that they have ventilation in that trailer, because they put a load of salt on this thing and it condensated, and we put a load of water on this thing and it condensated. And I kind of think that when the load is warm, when they put it in there, that's what causes it. But before this truck goes back on the road, I'm going to have vents put in it. I'm probably going to order them tomorrow, and I'll put them in myself. But I'm thinking about putting one in each of the back doors, and because I had one in the front on top of my last trailer, and I never ever opened it, because I'm not going to climb up there and try to open that thing. It just never was convenient enough for me to do that. And you wouldn't want to put one on the front bottom, because water would accumulate and eventually get on your load, and that would not be cool. but 2 on the back would probably do the trick. And I'm sorry about the video here just shaking, because I'm using my backup phone, and it does not sit well on my mount up there for some reason. Whenever it does, it just don't work anyway. But that's some of the things that I did before the end of the year to kind of help me on taxes and to touch up my truck. You know, you get that final wash, you get that final fueling. That way, because I'm going to be delivering at 6 o'clock on New Year's Eve. On Saturday night. Is that the New Year's Eve? I don't know. I'll be delivering Saturday night, and that's going to end up my year. That's going to be it. So I'm going to go home, and not Sunday, but Monday, go through all my paperwork and start my end of the year to see how bad my numbers are, because let's just say it's not a net profit. Oh, Lord. But I'm expecting next year to be a lot better, to be, unless something happens nationally that I can't control or my truck dies, I'm expecting good profits next year, because I'm planning on working and making as much as I can to get out of debt. Anyway, that's about all for tonight. Y'all have a great night, and we will catch you on the next ride.